I'm Mike Moranto, reporting for DayMoWildcats.com, and joined right now by head men's basketball coach Mike McDonald for our latest little chat here. Coach, since the last time we sat down, a couple of road wins. You guys go on the road, you beat Malloy, you beat Queens. You come home, you beat Mercy. That took you up to 9 wins in a row, which was the longest winning streak in the region at the time. Matched the longest winning streak of your tenure here at Damon, and then you suffered defeat for the first time in quite a while. 77-71 loss to nationally ranked Bridgeport, the top-ranked team in the region.
We didn't go down easy, though, did we?
No, you certainly didn't. And we'll get to that in a minute. So sitting at 14-7 overall, 8-3 in the league, and I guess we'll start with the Mercy game. Last time we sat down, you were just telling me about how you guys have it. Whatever it is right now, you guys have it going on. Against Mercy, you didn't have it for about 28 minutes, 31 points in 28 minutes, but then you turned it on, and you did have it in the last 12. 37 points in the last 12 minutes. You guys rally for a 68-60 win.
Yeah, and credit Mercy. Their defense is really good. They're long. They're athletic. They can block shots and alter shots at the rim. And we didn't shoot well. We were kind of stuck. I had a feeling that game would be very difficult simply because everybody was pointing toward the Bridgeport game on Sunday. We were coming off, as you said, we won 8 in a row. Everybody was talking about Bridgeport coming up, the big showdown, and you kind of forget that you got to get through Friday to get to Sunday. And for a little while, we were out of it, and we were knocked back on our heels, but we responded really well. And I thought Andrew Cisco, especially in the second half, we were able to ride him to the victory.
Yeah, it was a Jeff Redband three-pointer at the end of the shot clock, kind of a fadeaway three that ended up sparking.
Just like we drew it up.
Yeah. Ended up sparking a 22-4 run, which covered about 7 minutes. That really changed the game. You mentioned Cisco. He had 17 points in that 22 out of that 22 in that run.
He was feeling it, and we were smart enough to recognize that, get him the ball in different situations. He was making jump shots, making moves off the dribble, post moves, layups. He had the whole variety going, and he was good. And I credit our guards, our other guys to find him during that time, and credit Andrew for making all those shots.
5th double-double of the season for Cisco in that one, and he continues to lead all East Coast Conference freshmen in scoring at 14.5 points per game. First Damon freshman with over 300 total points in a season since Devin Dawson back in 2007-2008. Going into the Bridgeport game, you mentioned there was a lot of hype surrounding it, and credit Bridgeport for the way they came out, stifling hot on the shooting on the road. They shot 9 of 14 from 3-point range in the first half. Ended up being up 20, 46-26, and the Lumsden Gymnasium faithful were a little
zipping up their coats and getting ready to go.
But as you said before, you guys didn't go down without a fight. Came back. We're trailing by 24 at one point in the second half. Cut it to 2 with 19 seconds to go.
Yes, we were down 24 with 13 to go, and it did not look good. But we hadn't played well up to that point, I think, and credit them, they made shots. Didn't think we defended the way we usually have been. And then it kind of clicked in, and we just kind of kept going. We made that little spurt there. We hit a couple threes. Their defense was very good, and they turned us over. We turned the ball over way too much. But during that stretch, we didn't, and we guarded, and we were able to get out and run and got some easy baskets. And next thing you know, the game's not over. And in reality, they have a layup with 19 seconds to go that they miss. If we come down with that rebound, we're down 2 with the ball, going for a win or a tie. Unfortunately, we didn't come down with it. Their guy got it, made his free throws, and then we weren't able to come back any further.
Bridgeport was impressive, just the way they come at you in waves. There doesn't seem, there's not a whole lot of difference between their best player and like the 10th and 11th guy that they bring off the bench, and it just wears you down over time. And so you give them credit for the way they come at you in waves. the biggest wave of the game was Breon Harris in the last 13 minutes. He ends the game with a career-high 28 points, most for a Damon player since Arif Mamaitai had 30 last year, which was also against Bridgeport. But he had 22 points in the last 13 and a half minutes of that game.
I'll tell you what's even more impressive. I was just on the phone with his high school coach, and his high school coach said, he texted him after the game, said, wow, 28 points, that's awesome. And Breon's only response was, yeah, but I missed 2 big free throws. And he carries that. And that, for a sophomore, a young kid, having the run he's been having, to think more about the team and what he didn't do as opposed to sticking his chest out and saying, yeah, I was great, da-da-da. He was more about the team. And that, to me, really shows you the character and the type of kid that he is and the type of guys we have playing right now.
6 steals in the game for Breon, second in the league with 47 steals to this point in the season. In your mind, is he a defensive player of the year candidate in this league?
Oh, without a doubt. But when we watched the film after the Bridgeport game on Monday, we talked about, hey, there were about 3 instances where he didn't get a hand up and contest. And I said, that could hold you back from winning that award. So still room to grow, still room to get better. But without a doubt, should be one of the finalists for the Defensive Player of the Year.
We've talked about Cisco quite a bit throughout the year. We've talked, especially lately, about Breon and his emergence. And at times we've talked a lot about Jay Sarkis and Jeff Redband and Alex Miljanovich. And one of the guys that we haven't talked a lot about, who's, I think, to my eyes, having the best stretch of his career, is Darius Garvin. And I think he's just so steady for you, but steady, and he's picked it up. In the last 12 games, in the last 9 games, averaging 13.5 points a game. He's raised his season scoring average from like 6.7 to 10.2 or 3 in that stretch. He's got 12 consecutive games with a 3-pointer, which is the longest consecutive game streak of his career. What have you seen from Darius over this stretch that's propelled him to the way he's playing?
I think when Dion became ineligible and went out, we talked with Darius about, hey, you have to kind of emerge and you have to kind of go. For a while, he was always content, and it's a little bit of his personality. He's a quiet kid. He was content to be a guy who just kind of is in the background, is kind of there, is not really, it contributes, but isn't really imposing his will on the game. When Dion went out, we just said, hey, we lost our leading scorer. It's time you have to play like you did in high school. When you were in high school, you were much more of a scorer. It's time for you to kind of pick it up. And he has responded. Really, since the second half of the game at St. Michael's, I think he realized, like, hey, he's got to help carry us. And this team has evolved to not necessarily be a team that needs one person to carry them. It is a team that is a true team in every sense of the word, that one night it's one guy, one night it's another. He's a great example of a guy but he picked up his level to get to that point. We need him to be, his level of play has been outstanding. And he is a, glue guy is a term people like to use, but he does everything for us. He handles the ball. He inbounds the ball, which is sometimes very tough against some of the teams that press. Then he handles the ball. He has to be a playmaker. He has to be one of our better drivers. He has to usually guards the other team's best player, either him or Breon. And it's been, it's a lot. We're looking back, we're getting ready to play St. Thomas Aquinas. He had 12 rebounds against them back in early December. We need him to do that too. So we ask a lot of Darius, but he has definitely delivered, and he has the ability to do that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned he's taken on a lot more of the ball handling responsibilities as well, especially late in games, on top of the scoring that he's providing. Looking ahead to this weekend, back on the road, a couple of big road games. You guys are going to go play St. Thomas Aquinas, who's tied with Bridgeport atop the league right now, and then on to District of Columbia. So right off the bat, a little bit of a different road trip where you're playing in New York, down by New York City, and then you got to travel a somewhat far distance down to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, we got the charter ready. Charter bus.
Yeah, right.
we haven't done this trip like this, so hey, it's all part of the adventure. It's all part of the fun, and for our guys, it's a fun time of year. It's February. You're playing meaningful games, and I think we all would have signed up for that back in December when we were struggling a little bit. And so here we are. Let's go and see what happens.
The first opponent, St. Thomas Aquinas, I think their accomplishments over the last couple of years have been well documented. Two-time defending league champs. Their top player, Justin Reyes, just became the all-time leading scorer in the history of our conference. But you mentioned it just a couple of seconds ago. You played this team back in December, early December. It was a 10-point loss. It was probably a closer game than that. Yeah. But your team has evolved since then. You're almost going into this like a completely different team.
Exactly. We're a different team. And it was kind of that way going into the Bridgeport game because we're a different team. Actually, in both these games, Dion Hamilton was our leading scorer. So, and Dion has always played well for whatever reason against Bridgeport and St. Thomas Aquinas. He always seems to have bigger games. So we're going to miss that right off the bat. We're going to need other guys to evolve and other guys to kind of pick up the slack. St. Thomas Aquinas is a tremendous team, very well coached. They've started 4 seniors who have won a lot of games and are used to winning. I think they have 5 or 6 total seniors on their roster who, the least of which is Justin Reyes, who, I'm not going to be sad when he graduates, let's be honest. And I don't think any other coach in this league is going to be very sad. Very difficult guy to guard, very tremendous player, best player in this region. He's an All-American, without a doubt.
Well, you'll have your hands full with him, and hopefully take care of business on the road Friday night, and then move on to UDC Sunday, and then looking to get back on the winning track this weekend. For everybody at home, both games will be broadcast on the ECC Sports Network. The Sunday game, don't worry, it's 3:00. It's Super Bowl. It's before the Super Bowl, so everybody's got a chance to tune in and catch some Division II.
The Bills aren't in the Super Bowl.
That's true.
So why are we worried?
I know I'm not. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week.